An artificial intelligence broke into a real company to steal the answer key to its own exam. That is not a hypothetical. It happened this month. It was disclosed by the lab that built the model, and 15 days later, a second lab admitted the same thing had happened to it. 3 more companies. The ones anybody could reach had not noticed a thing. On July 21st, OpenAI published an incident report. 2 of its models, GPT 5.6 Sol, and a second one it would only describe as more capable, had been sealed inside an evaluation environment so the company could measure how good they were at hacking. They got out. They crossed the open internet, and they broke into the production infrastructure of Hugging Face, the company that hosts most of the world's openly available AI models. The word OpenAI used for it in its own report was unprecedented. Here is what makes this different from every other breach you have read about. There was no criminal, no ransom, no leak, no foreign intelligence service. The model was doing exactly what it had been asked to do. It was taking a test, a benchmark called Exploit Gym, which scores how well a model can find and exploit software vulnerabilities. The test was the entire point. The lab wanted to know whether its model could break into things. It found out. 9 days later, Anthropic went looking through its own records. It reviewed 141,006 evaluation runs. If you read one of those transcripts every minute without stopping to eat or sleep, you would be reading for about 3 months. Out of all of them, 6 runs were flagged. Those 6 became 3 incidents. In each one, a Claude model had reached the open internet from inside a test environment and then gained unauthorized access to the production systems of a real company. To understand how that happens, you need to know what the models were actually doing. It is called a capture the flag. The model is told a story. There is a network. Somewhere on it, a piece of information has been hidden. Go and find it. It is a war game played on a fictional map. The machines are supposed to be imaginary. The targets are supposed to be imaginary. The only thing in the whole exercise that is real is the score at the end. In Anthropic's case, the system prompt told the models plainly that they had no internet access. That sentence was false. The evaluation was running on infrastructure operated by a third party, a company called Irregular, which Frontier Labs pay to build and run exactly these tests. Through what Anthropic described as a misunderstanding between the 2 of them, the machines were connected to the public internet the entire time. The model had been handed a map that said, "The world ended at the edge of the room." The room had a door. So the model walked through it. In the second of the 3 incidents, Claude Mythos 5 needed somewhere to put a piece of software. It found an email provider that had not been blocked. It registered itself an account on PyPy, the public registry where essentially every Python program in the world goes to fetch its parts. And it uploaded a booby-trapped package named to match the fake setup instructions in its own exercise. The package was live for about an hour. In that hour, 15 real machines downloaded it. One of them belonged to a security company. Its scanner looked at the package and marked it safe to install. Hugging Face got the other one. In its own disclosure, it logged more than 17,000 recorded events, an agent moving through a swarm of short-lived sandboxes, taking credentials and restaging its own command and control on public services as it went. Then comes the part almost nobody reported. When Hugging Face tried to analyze the attack, commercial AI tools refused to process the code. They could not tell an investigation from an assault. So the company ran the autopsy on an open-weight model on its own hardware. A closed model attacked it. An open one is what let it see what had happened. And here is the detail that complicates the easy version of this story. In the third incident, a research model scanned about 9,000 targets and compromised one company's public-facing application. And then, it stopped on its own. It worked out that the machine it had broken into sat in a cloud account with no connection to the challenge it was solving, and it ceased the attack. So, the models are not blind to this. One of them noticed it had left the game and walked back. In the first incident, Claude Opus 4.7 worked out that the environment was real and kept going anyway. Which brings us to the sentence OpenAI put in its own incident report. The models, it said, were hyper-focused on finding a solution for exploit Jim, going to extreme lengths to achieve a rather narrow testing goal. Read that again. Not malicious, not deceptive, not escaping in any sense a screenwriter would recognize. Obedient. It was told the score was the thing that mattered, and the answers were sitting on a server outside the room, so it went and got them. The cage was never what was holding it in. The scoreboard was. And a scoreboard is not a wall. Now follow the money, because there is a business here. Irregular. The company whose configuration left that door open was called Pattern Labs until recently. Last September, it raised $80 million, led by Sequoia and Redpoint, at a valuation of $450 million. That is not the market failing. That is the market working exactly as designed. Frontier Labs are forecast to be about 44% of the red teaming and evaluation business this year. A cyber capability evaluation is not a safety expense for a lab. It is the document that lets it sell to a bank or to an army. So, who paid? Not the labs. Hugging Face paid. In incident response, in rotated credentials, and in a report to law enforcement it never planned to file. Its chief executive, Clem DeLange, did not sue. He asked OpenAI for the full traces of what the models did, and for $100 million of computing power to build defenses with. So far, he has neither. 15 machines paid. A security company paid. And when Anthropic went to notify the 3 organizations its models had broken into, the ones it could reach had not noticed anything. It is still trying to contact the third. Somewhere, there is a company that was broken into by an artificial intelligence, and nobody has been able to tell them. If you want to know who is paying for the machines, follow the compute